Nah, man. I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
The SV-510 Warrior is a British Tier 6 BR 8.0 infantry fighting vehicle that proves that strapping a big fuck-off rocket to literally anything will make it a good tank. This little chavmobile was built to replace the chassis of vehicles like the Falcon and is still in service today, mostly in the free-for-all known as the Middle East. In War Thunder, this is actually a tank that can keep its own in up tiers and as such doesn't make you completely want to off yourself. The Warrior is powered by a Perkins Rolls-Royce V8 Condor engine with a maximum of 550 of Her Majesty's Grand Ascot winners, and as such goes like investigations into mass rape gangs. Just kidding, that shit doesn't go anywhere. This means that it can hit 25 to 30 miles per hour on most terrain, and can do the same speed backwards and quickly, and unlike its Surf African competition, can actually go uphill. That's all well and good, but what about the armor? Well, of course with speed you lose armor and the Warrior has fucking none of it. 30 to 60 millimeters at various slopes is all you get, meaning everything will carve through you like Dave down the pub carves up his Sunday roast good and proper, and much like Dave it also has the option to get fatter. These side skirts with barely any composite armor do basically nothing but make your vehicle look hella cool, and will give you a better chance with the council estate slags. So what about the third stage of the tank trilogy, the armament? The Warrior is equipped with a 30mm gun that fires the same 110mm penetration rounds as the Falcon, but in 6-round clips, much slower and worst of all, unstabilized. This means that it's mostly good for killing the sides of MBTs and taking out a crewman or two, but generally they will either turn towards you or kill you before you can say Brexit. However, by now you will have noticed the large protrusion from the top of the tank, and this is unfortunately a Franco-German missile. A Brit's worst nightmare. Fortunately the Milan 2 is a quite good second-gen missile with a top speed of 200 meters per second and 730 millimeters of pep, meaning you can generally one-shot or disable most tanks, even those above your BR. Finally, thermal sights can be equipped, meaning that if you're a lazy bastard you don't need to actually look for tanks but just spot them and fuck them up. Now we have covered the characteristics. How do you play the obliterator of Remainers? To start, load about 35 clips of APDS frozen Lincolnshire sausages with the remaining spare hardened Yorkshire puddings, so you can pretend to use them against aircraft, and ideally have the Milan 2 researched, although the first one is a-okay. When you spawn in, use your good speed to get into bullshit spots, and especially those where enemies can't see you easily, as you are as soft as the liver of any Englishman down the pub on a footy night. As said before, this thing is generally good to take into higher tiers, but just remember that you may not be able to pen all armor like some bullshit communist turrets, so your main aim is to disable Ivan and Dimitri the gunner and driver. Generally, launching a missile at the center of the gun will fuck with the tank enough to make it no longer a threat, and you can easily close the distance and pen his side armor. Generally you want to keep at a distance if spotted so you can guide the Milan properly, and if he doesn't see you, you can engage from extreme range like everyone in the UK at the minute. Just kidding, Mayo. Being manly is generally not a good idea in this tank owing to the missile taking distance to start tracking properly, so stay at least 10 to 20 meters away and aim at soft spots for maximum empire building. Use your 30mm to shoot side on tanks or SPAAs dumb enough to face you, and use the normal belts to shoot down impending choppers and planes. Additionally, you must remember that your missile cannot be fired above 1 mile an hour and your cannon is unstabilized, so basically don't expect to fire and move ever. You only use your maneuverability to get out faster than the average Brit becomes a complete prick when moving to London. With that said, let's now cover the upgrades. And for once I'm not covering a premium vehicle, so you'd better listen up. First, take parts and FPE for that free Challenger 2, then adjustment of fire and perhaps tracks, to be a graceful ballerina, and not a roiker trying to get up slopes. Next, research the better missile and elevation mechanism or crew replenishment for more joules per minute, then NVD to make your life 100% easier. After this, take the weight gain pill and artillery, and then do whatever the heck you please. We will now talk about the upgrades for your pub crawl mates. For your driver, take tank driving to exceed 20 miles per hour in built up areas, then vitality, repair, and prayers to Jesus that he won't get a discarding sabo round to the cock. For the gunner, prioritize vision and repair stats over actual gunnery ones, as your gun doesn't really matter and missile aiming depends on you, the flesh bag in his mum's basement. For the commander, take leadership to remind your pleb teammates to put the kettle on, and for the loader, do whatever the fuck you please. By following these simple steps, you will find that this is the correct way to play the FV510 warrior. Now go out there and participate in the invasion of a small Middle Eastern country because the US told you to do so.